Hey guys, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, we're going to be working on this Ford 6.0 diesel. The battery light was staying on for a long time, and it's been going on and off, for quite a while. And so we are going to change the alternator. Welcome to Man Time. Okay, yeah, I don't know about you, but a good truck fixing video is always fun. So, I've actually been into this engine before. I've got a SAE standard ASE mechanic buddy, and we took this engine apart. We replaced the EGR cooler and the oil cooler, and I think let's see, there's a high-pressure oil pump valve thing or something back there that has a screen on it. We replaced that out. Just did a few things in there, and it was ridiculously hard. But one thing he showed me was a trick to, you can actually pull on the serpentine belt here really hard, and it'll lock the tensioner in place. The alternator is the last thing to go on. So, yeah, first thing to come off. So this is the first step in, if you're going through and having to do that work yourself, this is the first step. So let's see if we can get it here. Lock. Alright, well, alright, the first thing we're going to do here is get the grounds off. I've already got both grounds off, so that's where you start. Next thing we're going to do is get the terminals off of the back of the alternator. And let's see what we need here. Looks like we need a 10 millimeter. We've got all of our, these are all metric. You can't buy anything anymore without having metric stuff on it. 12. No, looks like a 10. Always good to have a flashlight. Alright, I'm going to leave that connector on until we get the alternator out of there. Okay, so the issue is there's I guess supposed to be a spring-loaded little latch on the tensioner pulley. Alright. So there's supposed to be a little latch on the tensioner pulley down inside of there, and the latch is not catching. So watch. I mean, I'm bottoming it out, and it's just not working. So I'm going to spray some PB Blaster down there. Maybe it'll loosen it up. If not, maybe I can wedge something in there against that supposed to be spring-loaded catch pin, and see if we can get it to catch that way. All right, the lubricant isn't working, so I've got a big tire changing spoon here, and see if we can rest this up against there. Kind of hard to reach. Must have moved. Yeah, I can see it's just flopping around. It is no longer spring-loaded. Yeah, that's why it won't engage. Whew. Okay, I got it to work. The spring must have broken inside of there. So I used this pry bar just up under the little latch and was able to get it to hook up under there. Okay. A little too tight for the 12 volt, so we'll go to snap-on. See, now it's a whole lot easier to get this plug off of here with maybe. Don't go anywhere, belt. Yeah, these plugs are just ridiculous to get off of here. Okay. Alright, old alternator. Right there. Alright, most important thing you can do here before you start putting the new one back on is wash your hands. Take a little water break. Clean hands. Shiny new part, 110 amp, new alternator. One thing that's really important is to make sure you put some Vaseline or dielectric grease on all of the connection points here and inside the plug, and then also on the terminal here. And inside the plug. Okay. Yeah, it's a whole lot easier with an old paintbrush to get that Vaseline really nice and kind of on everything. Alright, we want to do it the same way. We want to hook the plug up first and then get a couple volts started and do it that way. It's a whole lot easier getting this plug on before it's all the way in there. There we go. And you want to put the belt on before you tighten the bolts down, making sure that it has stayed on everything. Yeah, I don't remember it being that loose. Pretty loose. Okay, well, I guess when it was brand new, it was a little tighter. Loctite? Yeah, let's put a little Loctite on these. Looks like there was anti-seize on there, actually. Looks like something's already on there, so we'll go with that. Just put you in here. Where'd you go? Just check it with the socket wrench here, make sure it feels good. Yeah, that's nice. Nice and tight. Alright, where were we? 10 millimeter. The plug for the main terminal here. Okay, let me bring in here, see if I can't show you where that little latch is. Let's see here. This may not work with autofocus. Let's see if I can get a light down here. Alright, so the latch is right down in... It's hard to see. It's right down in there. That's where that latch is at. Right underneath the pulley, you can see there. So that latch is actually really difficult to see. Now, but it looks like I do have the right tool to get in there and pop it loose. Maybe not. Maybe it's spring-loaded so it pops the other way. Let's try it. Oh yeah, all right. It's spring-loaded so it pops the other way. Okay, so you've got to set it to get it to latch when you're trying to make it, I don't know, detension, and then when you just jerk on it, then it lets it go. I thought it was different though. So if yours does it differently, maybe my spring on mine's broken. So okay, last thing we're gonna do is hook the battery back up, check the voltage on the battery without it running, start it up, and then check the voltage while it's running. Make sure it's charging. Okay, I was saying earlier how I had worked on this and changed out the oil cooler and EGR cooler. The oil cooler manifold is right down there. It's pretty tough to see, and it's actually been bulletproofed. So what you're going to see here is like these hydraulic hoses. There's one there, and then there's one here, and that is actually telling me that we've got a air over oil instead of antifreeze over oil like the original system was. The original system had a little radiator up here with air, oil on one side and antifreeze on the other, and then the EGR cooler is kind of like down in there too. Yeah, it's just a nightmare to have to pull. I mean, you've got to pull all of this stuff out. You got to pull the turbo off. You got to disconnect the exhaust. The ficum over there, that's that metal thing right there. You got to pull that out, and it failed again. The EGR cooler failed for a second time on me, and it was actually the third one in the vehicle. When I got it, it had been replaced. I replaced it again, and then that one failed. So it's a big pain to have to change them out. And after we had actually gone through and done it, my buddy and I, when it failed, for the third time, I guess, I just took it into the shop. I got a new ficum, I got a new EGR delete bulletproof diesel, and then the oil cooler is just now a manifold with hoses that comes up to another radiator in the front here. So it's air over oil. And then, let's see, high pressure oil pump, high pressure oil valve, new injectors, new injector wires, that's really important. Heads cleaned and disassembled. You've actually got to take the cab off to get the heads off of this thing. So if you're thinking about doing that on your own, you can't. It sucks. But, yeah, it's a pain. It is a real pain to change out the EGR. I just spent I think it ended up being like 10 grand or something for all that engine work. But now it's good and reliable. Got a new alternator. Let's see if that works. Alright, so the troubleshooting process here, of course, the indicator is probably going to be your car won't start or your battery's dead or something to that effect. But that could just be, the battery. So what you want to do is you want to come out and test your battery and check the resting voltage, right? And so we've got 12.6. Okay. So that alternator should be charging at something more like 14 or something. So when I checked it earlier, it was, and I'd been charging these batteries a little bit, it was like just under 12. It was just barely able to start. And then I drove it around, that battery light stayed on for a long time and just never went out. So I shut it off, or actually I checked it while it was running, right, and it was just under 12. And at that point, you pretty much know the alternator should be charging at over 12. But then turned it off, and it was the same voltage, just under 12. So you know at that point the alternator's not doing what it's doing. Not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, let's start it up and check the voltage again. Alright, so just started the engine up, and now we'll go ahead and check the voltage here again. Well, that's not good. Still just over 12. Okay, so that could be a different issue. That could be a wiring issue. Wait, here it comes. It's coming on. 13. 13.2. 13.3. 13.4, okay. So there you go. If you get an alternator, I guess let it warm up a little bit. 13.5, still climbing. I'm going to put the charger back on these batteries so I'm not killing this alternator right away. 13.6. I kind of wanted to get it to max so you could see what it's supposed to do. And it looks like it's topped out right about 14. 14.1, 14.2, something like that. Man, that was scary when I first started it up and it didn't work right away. I was like, oh man. It must have been something with the computer having to switch it on, or I don't know. All right. Well, I do actually want to get this battery fully charged. It says in the manual you're supposed to take the ground off of one of the batteries for both charging and if you're going to like jump start a car, I think too. So something to note there. I know it seems like that's something pretty stupid to do. Why wouldn't it just charge one battery at a time? I guess I don't know the answer to that, but that's what it says in the manual anyway. So I'm going to do it. You unplug the ground, plug your charger in there, and let it go to charging. I didn't want to have it. I got that battery fully charged up. This is a 2-battery system, dual batteries. So I wanted to get this one charged up as well, so that alternator isn't trying to work as hard, and it isn't sucking power off of that battery to charge everything. So we'll let this one charge up, and yeah, that's going to do it. Thanks for joining me today on Man Time, guys. If you like this type of stuff, thumbs up, subscribe, and get out there, have some man time too.